good day, everybody. I'm truly happy to say hello to you all again in our meetup program with English Department UNS Solo. This 30-minute program is a sharing program held by the English Department Faculty of Cultural Sciences, Universitas Sebelas Maret, Solo. And I'm Taufiq Makmun, the host of the meetup program. So we have two different sessions in this meetup program, the academic session and also public voices session. Today is our public voices program, and we will continue the discussion we conducted in the last talk about mainstream in English department UNS. And I have already invited two students as part of our stakeholders. Again, to inform you all, this program can be accessed through our YouTube channel and also podcasts, and we will have weekly update. So do subscribe to our channel. This program is recorded via Google Meet as we practice the protocol of physical distancing and staying at home amidst the pandemic. Of course, we hope that this pandemic will end soon. Baik, halo semuanya. Senang sekali saya bisa bertemu lagi dalam program Meetup bersama Prodi Sastra Inggris UNS Solo. Program ini dapat dinikmati dan diikuti melalui kanal YouTube kami dan juga dapat didengarkan melalui podcast. Program ini kami selenggarakan dalam dua bahasa. Ini dalam sesi suara publik, kita akan melanjutkan sesi sebelumnya terkait pengarus utamaan Prodi Sastra Inggris UNS. Dan saya telah mengundang dua mahasiswa Prodi Sastra Inggris untuk berbagi tentang pengarus utamaan yang dikembangkan di Prodi Sastra Inggris. So, hello, Muthia. How are you today?
Hi, sir. Hello, everyone. I'm great. How about you?
I'm great. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for your time to be with me today to share about what you're doing in your mainstream. And we also have our second guest here. Hello, Valent. How are you today?
Hi, everyone. I'm quite good today. Nice to meet you.
Okay, also thank you to you, Valent, your time availability to be with me today in our meetup program. And before that, I need to introduce you both guys to our viewers. Her complete name is Muthia Putri Meilania, and she is right now 20 years old, and she comes from Sragen, Central Java. And she shared me earlier that she had like some achievement and also having like a really active in some activities. She was the first winner of ELD Fest National Speech Competition in 2019, and also a finalist of the SS Fair National Speech Competition back in 2019. Also becoming a delegate in Asian University Youth Summit 2019 in Malaysia. She was also a delegate in Asian Community Engagement Program, Clean River in Malaysia. She ever participated in ASEAN Cultural Night 2019, and she also was the president of English Department Community in 2019. She was also the media and community specialist ISAC in UNS 2019. And her future expectation, she wants to be a diplomat or also public relation. She loves to engage with the people in the international society. And our second guest today, Valentina Saraswati. She is 22 years old right now. She comes from Magetan, East Java. She ever joined Yes Exchange student back in 2015 in Michigan, United States of America. She also joined Siamolek debate competition and becoming the winner in 2017. She was also in the Big 16 EduFest debate competition 2017. And also the first place debate competition English Department House Challenge 2019. She was also a member of Better Than Broadway, focusing on stage managing, script writing, and also acting. She was also a member of the ART division of English Department Community 2018-2019. And one thing that I need also to let you know that she's currently building her own art account at LV Moon. So you just have to find this account in Instagram, I guess. She's also aimed to write a fairy tale book and a script for a Better Than Broadway. And her future expectation, she wants to be a lecturer, author, or translator. Okay, so let's welcome the both special guests that we have today. Thank you, Valent and also Muthia, for joining our program today.
My pleasure.
My pleasure too, sir.
Yeah. So continuing our discussion last week that I have invited two students coming from two different mainstream, linguistic and also translation. I need to refresh our viewers information that I have mentioned that in English department, Faculty of Cultural Sciences, Universitas Sebelas Maret, we offer students to develop their focus of study, to shape their focus of their final project research, that we call it as mainstream. They are linguistic and then translation and also literature and American studies. And today we have two students coming from American studies and literature. So Muthia, you're from American studies program, right?
Correct.
Okay. And Valen, you're from literature. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, I would like to start questioning them. Why do they choose this mainstream? I would like to start from Valen. Valen, why did you choose literature as your major focus in English department?
I think it's because literature has been a big part of my life since I'm a kid, and I
Mm-hmm.
find out that there are a lot more choices if I can learn English and I can discuss with people in the world of literature, and I am interested in how to write them, how to understand them. So I think it's just a good choice for me to join this mainstream.
Okay, a very reasonable answer. What about you, Mutia? Why do you choose this mainstream? American studies, right? Your mainstream?
Yeah, yeah, that's right. So when I was in senior high school, I actually had decided about what I want to be and that I want to work in the field of international relation. But yeah, just in case I didn't pass. So yeah, I took the international relation major at first, but just in case I didn't pass to join the same major, so I had a plan B, and I thought that English department was my best option, and I took a pick that I had research on English department, and as it has American studies and as one of its mainstream. And I took a peek at the courses and I thought, wow, I really want to learn about the courses taught in American studies. So yeah, I choose English department and I have decided it in the beginning that I will join this mainstream American studies.
Oke, baik. Jadi baik Valen maupun Mutia, ini ada satu benang merah ya, bertemu dengan publik internasional ya. Valen dalam bidang literatur atau kesusastraan, sedangkan Mutia dalam hal bagaimana hubungan internasional dikembangkan melalui program kajian Amerika. In what semester actually you start like knowing that in English department like having this kind of mainstream, Mutia?
I actually have known it since I was in senior high school, and American studies is the main reason why I choose English department.
Okay, so right away when you join the English department, actually you have this passion, yeah, to be part of the American studies already. Okay, what about you, Helen?
I actually know this since the first semester because one of the senior told me we talk about the mainstream, what will we see in the future, and I think this one is like the one that makes me interested, and she's also interested in this program, so I think that's why I want to know. And we have the discussion about that with my friends too.
Right. Okay. So from the discussion and also from the information, ya, from the senior. Bahkan dari orientasi di program di sastra Inggris, mahasiswa baru sudah diperkenalkan bahwa keempat pengaruh utamaan atau mainstream ini akan menjadi pilihan bagi mahasiswa yang belajar di prodi sastra Inggris. Ya. Baik Valen maupun Mutia termasuk yang beruntung dari awal sudah mengetahui ini interestnya mana. Oke. And
Yeah.
then also in English department, we already shared on the previous talk in our meetup program with the student from linguistic and also from translation that before finally you choose in the fifth or sixth semesters to focus on your mainstream, you were introduced um, with the courses for the introductory of the mainstream. Yeah. So how did you find it like a useful and give you like insight to understand the difference between one mainstream and the others? Valen, you may start it up.
From this first semester, because in semester
Mm-hmm.
six is like when the first time I get the courses that literally taught me about the literature world. I think it gives me new insight on how I see and I read the books that are mainstream. We learn about the background of the book, about the
Mm-hmm.
writer and the culture behind that, and how to actually understand the literature. And I think that changed a lot of ways for me to understand the book. Like reading book now feels different than before.
Jadi mempengaruhi ya mata kuliah di awal dalam memberikan pengenalan sehingga membuat minat bacanya menjadi naik ini bagi Valen. What about you, Mutia? Did you find it like a useful the introductory courses before finally you focus on American studies?
Yes, of course. The classes about introduction to the mainstream that I choose now were really useful for me because uh, at first I just choose like American studies. Okay, I love to learn about that, but I uh, didn't have any like a visualization about what the courses will be. And then, like for example, introduction to American studies and introduction to American history really give me a lot of insights about what the mainstream would be like, and then it makes me more eager to learn about the American studies.
Thank you. And now I want you also to share like what specific courses that you focus on that makes your mainstream are unique and different with other mainstream. Mutia, what are the courses in American studies that student coming from literature like Valen actually do not learn?
I think there are a lot of courses on that we can only learn in American studies and not for other mainstream like gender in America and American history, American ethnic, American thought, and yeah, um, the the classes in American studies really like open our mind to the wider world about yeah, we also feel like sometimes we also learn about philosophy, even though it's not as deep as those who really study in the same major. But other than that, we also learn about the uh, introduction to cultural studies, which we also learned it with the literature students, and like the materials, the theories that we learn in the course are really helpful for us.
So it's like the angle. It seems like really wide. Yeah, you mentioned about philosophy, culture, and then thought, his history, and you also mentioned about ethnic. Yeah, as
Yeah.
a typical to study about America. Jadi belajar mata kuliah yang diberikan ini sangat unik ya terkait masyarakat ya, dari pemikiran, kemudian falsafah hidup, sejarah, kajian etnik di dalam kajian wilayah Amerika. What about you, Valen? In literature, what are like a specific courses that make this like a really literature class, like a unique and typical in literary studies?
I think in literature mainstream, in our mainstream, we are focusing on what exactly literature is. So if I said it as like what we learn about three main things. The first one is what is the literature, what is inside that. So we learn about the what is the poetry, the drama, and the prose, because that's like the main of literature. And then we learn about the culture behind that. We learn the theory around that, the background, like the history, the social life around that, why it grows like that. And then we learn how to learn that. So we mainly just goes around literature. That's like the beginning of this mainstream.
Oke, jadi belajar tentang berbagai aspek, tapi sumber asalnya atau sumber kajian awalnya adalah karya literer ya, atau karya dalam sastra ya. Sama dengan kajian Amerika juga melibatkan budaya, pemikiran di balik karya sastra tersebut, kajian masyarakatnya, dan juga mungkin filosofi atau pemikiran yang ada di. Okay, by the way, while experiencing your study and then deepen your knowledge within the mainstream, what are the biggest challenges actually you as a student, maybe you can share, so your junior can also understand what the mainstream is all about. But just underline, according to you guys, what are like the biggest challenges, what are the thing that you love at the most, and what are the thing that okay, that this is like really difficult, it is challenging. Would you please share this?
Is it Valent or me?
Yeah, yeah, you can do it, sorry.
Okay, so I think the biggest challenge is the level of difficulty in this semester when we have to focus on American studies only, and because in the previous semester, in the early semesters, we learn like mostly about the English basic, the English basic skills, and then I can say that it's not the level of difficulty is not really high, but when we have to take this mainstream in this semester, and then we suddenly have to focus and then this mainstream and how to say it, like it's like forcing us to be more critical about everything that happened around us. So it's not only we are not only memorizing the theories that we learn in American studies, but we have to be more critical to everything that happened around us, and then analyze it. And we actually do it through papers, which we mostly didn't do it before. But in this semester, we will have to do a lot of papers. But I think it's good because it's I just take it as practice to be more critical in a more organized, and then and the good thing is, and we for example, like we see the music video really just which is just released by a certain artist, and when we see the music video we can get a lot of signs, and that's like the feeling that we don't feel before, because previously we just see music video just as it is, like for entertaining us, but now with the music video as then we auto analyze it, and I think that's a good thing about this.
Okay, so being critical, dituntut berpikir kritis dan kritis terus menerus ya kalau sudah masuk ke mainstream ini ya di kajian Amerika. Kemudian tuntutan menulis papernya banyak. Okay, what about you, Valen? What are the biggest obstacles or challenges that you would like to share becoming the student in literature mainstream?
Studying in literature mainstream, especially in English literature, means that we have to learn books from other culture. That is the challenges. Like, we learn the theory, we learn the background, we learn the history, but that is not ours to begin with. And to understand a book, we have to actually understand it through the eyes of the writer, through the culture in which the book are written and the writer, and that's, I think, it's somehow dissociate me with like the real world in Indonesia, especially because the culture of the book sometimes that we like a lot of the books that we talk about is like from the 90s something, is from the past. There's a lot of differences there and the language are different, so we have to be more aware and like be more sensitive when we read, because we're not just going to enjoy the book, we're going to understand the book. And I think that's the challenges, to use the theories that are given in class that we discuss and learn as just theory to the application when we read and write paper about the book, without putting like our personal feeling about the book, whether the book are fun, sad, make us angry or not. We just need to understand that as there's a book created in this year and it contains this, and this. I think that's the challenges.
Oke, baik. Terima kasih, Valen, atas sharingnya. Jadi tantangannya adalah ketika buku itu hasil karya seorang penulis dari budaya yang berbeda, mungkin juga konteks waktu yang berbeda. Jadi tidak sekedar bagaimana kita mengikuti sebuah buku, tapi bagaimana ada di baliknya yang menuntut pemahaman kita. Beda budaya, beda konteks, beda konsep, menjadi tantangan yang menurut Valen perlu digarisbawahi sebagai mahasiswa. Harus utama kesusastraan, atau sastra. Now I would like to also ask you. So, when you are a student of the mainstream, then what the future thesis or final project or research that you plan to have? What is all about? And so you can share over here. Valen, what is your future final research?
Currently, I'm still unsure about that, but I have an idea to talk about the, like, this is comparative studies between one aspect from this book that I like. It's Harry Potter books, and I want to talk about one aspect there that is different from the other book written by J.K. Rowling itself, because writer changes through times, and sometimes in first like earliest year that writer make it different, will be different when they make another book. And I want to do a comparative studies between how J.K. Rowling writes these certain aspects in her books.
It's very interesting, ya, talking about Harry Potter, like a popular work by J.K. Rowling. Jadi seperti Valen di sastra ini, dia tertarik untuk membahas satu aspek tertentu dari karya yang sangat terkenal, yaitu Harry Potter, tulisan J.K. Rowling. Mungkin bisa jadi inspirasi kalau mau ngambil mainstream sastra, kira-kira penelitian saya apa ya? Thank you, Valen, for sharing, because it can be also be inspiration. So if you are in a literature mainstream, like what kind of research or what kind of subject that you can use as a research. Yeah. What about you, Muthia? Have you also already planned about your future research project? Will you share?
Yeah, I'm actually working on it. My thesis will be about the hyperreality as in the theory of Jean Baudrillard, and I think the object of my thesis is a dating platform from America. It's occupied because there is a growing number of dating platforms in Indonesia, and I think this is interesting to be discussed in the thesis. And I know I want to find out how the people in the occupied dating app living in their hyperreality, in their fantasy about the ideal criteria that they have about the dating partner. And yeah, maybe I will also talk about the gender part, because the features in the occupied dating app really really touched the gender things and that. So yeah, but main point of my thesis is about hip reality, and I'll keep it setting up.
Jadi ini bisa jadi contoh yang di kajian Amerika, Muthia akan melakukan penelitian melalui sebuah aplikasi dating ya atau aplikasi perkencanan ya, dan akan melihat dari sisi hyperreality dengan menggunakan teorinya Baudrillard. Oke. Saja ini terkait dengan bagaimana realita yang tercipta di dalam aplikasi tersebut dalam sudut pandang masyarakat Amerika. Okay, thank you for sharing this. Okay, guys, if you meet like your juniors in English department and then they ask you about what's the mainstream is all about, can you just define it briefly? What is American Studies program, Muthia? So it can be like a information like after studying this, actually you can define what it is, right? So what is American Studies, Muthia?
Many people say that American Studies that you learn how to be American. That's wrong. That's actually how you learn about American, the Americans' way of thinking by learning how their history, ethnic, and then about their perspective on gender and many others. And it encourage us to have like a helicopter perspective, helicopter point of view to see things. So, yeah, American Studies is the mainstream in which you will learn about so many cultures, and it will help you to understand about a lot of cultures and multiliterate and like a better understanding of cross-cultural understanding, I guess.
Okay, ya, thank you. Ya, bagi yang ingin memilih mainstream ini, bagi mahasiswa sastra Inggris UNS, tadi yang perlu digarisbawahi oleh Muthia adalah belajar pada kajian Amerika bukan berarti kita belajar menjadi orang Amerika, tapi bagaimana kita mempelajari Amerika dengan berbagai budaya yang beragam dengan perspektif yang lebih luas, ataupun juga belajar tentang bagaimana komunikasi antar budaya yang terjadi dalam masyarakat Amerika. Thank you, Muthia, for sharing for your thought the way that you define American Studies. Now you can be a scholar and write a book and defining what is American Studies on your perspective. Okay, what about you, Valent? Yeah, after like these years, you already been focusing your mainstream in literature. How do you perceive literature, and what will you say to your junior if they ask you what literature mainstream is?
Literature studies is not just about reading books and write something about the books. It is about learning the culture that affects the writer, the literature products, and the reader, because each of them have their own way to see and like to explain and to show a certain culture. So it's basically learning culture from literature products, and literature products is not just books, because it also comes in the shape of poems, of drama, and many more. It's just like you learn culture, but from a small perspective from the author.
Jadi ada klarifikasi juga ya bahwa menjadi mahasiswa sastra itu tidak hanya belajar membaca dan belajar menulis, tetapi bagaimana bisa mengakses sebuah pemikiran ataupun budaya dari si penulis melalui karya sastra dalam berbagai bentuknya. Okay, thank you, Valent, for the sharing. And now it's all about you guys. So how this mainstream you think will contribute to your future and your future step and choice of life? Valent.
In this mainstream, of course, we learn about culture and how we diffuse information out of the literary products. And I think that's very important for me, because I want to be an author, and I've seen a lot of famous author out there share how they write. I mean, like Rick Riordan and Suman China. Before they write, they do research, and what they research about is they learn about a lot of manuscript from all times. They learn about stories that people share, and they build a world. I think now with the literary theory and how I can see literature in a new way, I think that's going to help me a lot in my future when I try to write something.
I wish you a great luck for your future as an author. But the one thing that you can see that you want to be not only an author that just write, but you will also want to do any research prior to your writing. Oke, terima kasih. Semoga sukses nih Valen yang mau jadi penulis yang penuh dengan pemikiran. Dan disampaikan bahwa dia ingin menulis tapi juga perlu ada riset untuk menulis. What about you, Muthia? So how will you set your future after becoming the student of the American Studies mainstream?
Yeah, American Studies mainstream really helped me to get a deep understanding of cross-cultural understanding, and then make me to have like an understanding to why a community behaves in such a way, or why American behave in such a way. But not only that, by through these courses, I start thinking about why a person behave in such a certain way, and that really helps for my future profession. I really want to be a diplomat or public relation, and I think I will need that kind of soft skill, like the understanding of cross-cultural understanding.
Ya, thank you Muthia. Jadi pemahaman antara budaya, pemahaman kebudayaan dari bangsa lain atau internasional ini akan sangat berguna bagi masa depan Muthia yang ingin menjadi seorang diplomat atau seorang public relation. But one thing in American studies, like give her like a knowledge investment in terms of cultures and the exposure to the interaction of many different cultures. Guys, unfortunately, we already touched at the end of the session. Yeah, so thank you very much for your time's availability, Valent, Muthia, for sharing with me and also for our viewers in the program.
You're very welcome, sir.
Okay.
You're welcome, sir.
Okay, thank you very much once again. So, viewers, I hope that it will give you all insight about two mainstreams that we develop in English department, Faculty of Cultural Sciences, Universitas Sebelas Maret, Solo. So this is the end of the program. Jadi saya berharap bahwa sesi kita hari ini mampu memberikan informasi tentang arus utama kajian Amerika dan juga sastra yang dikembangkan di Prodi Sastra Inggris Fakultas Ilmu Budaya Universitas Sebelas Maret dalam perspektif mahasiswa kami. Thank you for watching and listening. See you in the next meetup program. With me, Taufiq Makmun. Bye-bye.
See you.
See you.